Shares.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Hey, Robert, how you doing, man?
Yes, and thank you for taking my call. I wanted to let you know that I've been a subscriber for a couple of years, just different members of your team, and I really enjoy it. But really the reason I'm calling is to express my sincerest gratitude for you providing that information yesterday on the small business grant. I'm a small business owner and primary breadwinner for my family, and if I can get that money, it's going to really mean a lot to my family. So
that's awesome.
Thank you for taking the time to do that.
No, well, listen, man, we appreciate you growling and prowling with us.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. Thanks so much for kicking off your Friday afternoon right here with me. We got about 1 hour left to go in trading until the closing bell, and you got markets picking up steam to the upside. We're coming right up to these highs at about 12:30. That's a critical area. You break above there, you're talking about the 10 a.m. price level, but markets, we're a solid 120 points off of the lows. NASDAQ 100 up 135 points, being powered higher by Amazon in particular, among some others. We got some big winners today. S&Ps, we're up by 0.3%. You see the acceleration from the lows at about 130. We're up to 68.77, up by 22 points or 0.3%. The Dow up by 43 points or 0.1% right now, and the Russell positive by 0.4%. Bitcoin up about $2,700, up 2.5%. We jump over to yields in focus. There's your drop-off on Wednesday. Chairman Powell trying to dissuade the market from thinking that the December meeting is baked in with a cut. He was saying far from it. Yields trading higher. We get the 10-year right now at about 4.09. I'm going to pull it up as I speak, and we're going to look at the 2-year as well, because that's your 10-year. You jump over to the 2-year, just right at the lows of Wednesday afternoon. You're talking about a 2-year at 3.6% right now, and our 10-year at 4.09. So you get higher yield on the prospects of the Fed. And the dollar, taking that and running with it. You look where we were Wednesday afternoon at 98.65. The Fed makes their decision. He starts talking. There it was at 2:30 when you got that initial pop. Higher yield, dollar strength, and we've carried higher to 99.79 in the dollar. And yeah, as I mentioned, gold holding up well with all that dollar strength you got. Gold just chopping around above 4,000 at 4,015. All right, let's jump into it. Amazon, you give back some of those gains, but boy, you're talking about a $23 move, up 10.5%. AWS, the cloud, growing at one of the biggest numbers they've seen since 2022. And yeah, they're taking and running with it. You take a look at this thing on a daily basis. Now, last quarter they disappoint, and boy, you make up for it and then some, right? Amazon trades low with the market yesterday. You come into those numbers at about 223. A quarter ago, you came into their numbers at about 235, and you blow it away. We make all-time highs, and you better believe we're going to have some volume. Now, you know, you have some selling, but this is all-time highs with volume. That's a daily. You take a look at the weekly on Amazon. You know, you're breaking above 3 quarters ago, February, when you had the highs before you traded lower. And yeah, you're going to blow it away with volume. And that's what will happen when you open up 15% on an equity like Amazon. Mr. Bezos having a good Friday. Apple shares, strong numbers, but the market gives it all back. You open at all-time highs, and then you just rip lower on a daily basis. Now, what's interesting is you did so much volume yesterday. Look at this. 70 million shares yesterday. You're only at 52 million right now. But there's your overnight action on Apple. So China was a problem on Apple, but boy, they beat. They're going to have a banner quarter for the holidays. But China underperforming. The market says, you know what, this morning? They say, yeah, we know they did well, but we just traded from $200 up to $270. Okay, this thing's got almost 15 billion shares outstanding. Yeah, 14.8 billion shares outstanding for Apple. You trade up $70. That's $1 trillion in market cap it's got to live up to. And the market says, well, you lived up to it. Story of expectations. Big numbers for Apple, and the fact that they said they're going to get back to growth in China. Tim Cook, he said it. If he doesn't live up to it, they'll pay for it in future quarters. But they're seeing a turnaround as they miss in China. All right, we talked about Tesla. Flying cars, they're coming, folks. We'll check it out. Tesla shares up 2.9% right now. We take a look at the volume on Tesla. Okay, some big numbers after their numbers. Big numbers after their numbers, as in you spike higher. October 23rd, 127 million. Okay, but you're struggling to get above that price point. The high there was about 450, 449.40. Okay, we're just above that area. That's a daily. Oh, you take a look at the weekly on Tesla. Yeah, look at the declining volume. You make that run September 15th, and since then, just dropping off a bit. Still some big numbers chopping around, and we're right at this area on a weekly basis. You're back to the highs of 2024, and look at the volume we did then. So that's going to be some area, some resistance you're bumping up against. You put this thing on a longer-term chart, right? Yeah, above the highs of 2021, but you have the highs of 2024 sticking out there, and when you look at it on volume, there's your bar right there. 645 million shares on the weekly. We're doing 394 right now. So not the same volume we had at that high. All right, there's your bull. There it is. And the headline here, yeah, AI, right? Stocks get a month-end lift as AI fuels historic run. Amazon, big numbers. And overall, you make it through this earnings. Expectations sky high. And we got pretty decent numbers. Meta, the big miss, okay? And it's continuing today. Down by 2.7%. The market's worried again that Zuckerberg's on a spending kick. And look at that weekly, man. Look at that weekly. Meta's a great company long-term, man. He is a visionary, okay? But when the market thinks a visionary is going to spend some money for the future prospect of their aspirations without regard to the current aspect of their current financial earnings, so that company's firing on all cylinders, but boy, pay attention to the volume, folks. You know, I love the technical, the fundamentals, but you better believe I pay attention to the technicals, and they are selling the heck out of Meta shares today, and just this week. Selling the heck out of it, for lack of a better term. Look at that volume, man. And we're going to get some big volume in the final 45 minutes. Volume on the close on a week like that, you better believe we're going to have some big numbers on Meta as well. Google. Quite the company. And again, story of expectations, right? You come into their numbers at 275. Great numbers. You open at 300, we're at 280. Okay, so you really got to crush it like Amazon did. Apple shares up 0.2% right now. You jump over to Microsoft, and yeah, they sold it on the open as well. Off by 1.6%. You're right near the lows after their earnings from 540. And Microsoft's been on quite a run. You take a look at the weekly, though. That is some selling. Okay, can't get above the highs. The highs, 555.45. You got to 553.72, within $2 of all-time highs. And then you rip lower, and we're in risk of finishing near the low of that bar. The high, 553. The low, 515. We're at 517. All right, folks, S&P's up 24. NASDAQ 100 up 148. Amazon up $24. We'll come right back.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archive live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. So Amazon, the big story of the day, up 10.7% right now. We take a look at Amazon. You're talking about a company currently pushing $2.63 trillion. Now, you got 10.6 billion shares outstanding. Yeah, amazing, man. You're talking about today alone, almost a $250 billion market cap ad, up $23. You were up to $255 last night. Mammoth numbers, even for a company the size of Amazon. And getting into the numbers, cloud was what they were watching the most. And yeah, third quarter, AWS, $33 billion in sales, a 20% increase. The market was looking for 18%. And that was the biggest year-over-year rise since ChatGPT came on the scene in late 2022. Amazing that at this stage, that is the biggest percentage year-over-year growth in 3 years when the ramp-up has already been going on. You get into some more of the numbers from Amazon, okay? Here's their growth. Now, they are underperforming the smaller competitors. They're the leader, okay? Azure's on fire, man, 40%. Google, 33.9 as the leader. Amazon, 20.2. But yeah, the biggest number going back to fourth quarter of 2022 for their cloud. Their chatbot Rufus, it's going to add $10 billion in annual sales alone. Okay? Total sales, $180.2 billion. Market was looking for $177.8. The holiday quarter is going to be gangbusters. Where is it? There it is. Holiday quarter. How's 206 to 213? Excuse me. Operating profit in 90 days, somewhere between $21 and $26 billion. And then, as I talked about this morning, two big segments, advertising in particular, okay? Their advertising unit is an $18 billion segment, 17.7 to be exact, okay? It's going up 24%. AWS is $33 billion and going up 20%. Advertising is a huge component, as you know, in that business, and services to third-party sellers, $42.5 billion, up 12%. All right, but advertising, I don't think advertising gets enough love for such a big number, going up at such a big percentage, and a very high-margin business for the ads they're selling. They're their ads, right? They're putting them right next to the products, and guess what? You can get your ad right next to your seller service, and combined, They're talking about $60 billion between the two of them. $60 billion between advertising and services for the merchants as part of that. And jump over to Apple, okay? China revenue, they predict a return to growth after that surprise drop, and the drop was a 4% drop to $14.5 billion for the quarter in China, okay? The market thought they were going to take in $16.4 billion in the quarter. Yeah, you talk about a big problem. They blamed it on disruptions of supply, right? Blame that surprise on supply disruptions, predicting it will return to growth in the world's biggest smartphone arena as that 17, the iPhone 17 gains momentum. But CEO Tim Cook expressed confidence about their performance and the new iPhone 17. Here's his quote. "It's basically supply constraints that drove the results. We're thrilled with what we're seeing right now." Well, remember that if in 90 days it's not the same story, because the market liked it, but they gave it back this morning. Okay, and they have to live up to those expectations. And I said they've gained $1 trillion in market cap since their last earnings 90 days ago. But he's talking about store traffic up in China, the latest smartphone being received well. Apple's total growth projection for the December quarter, 10 to 12%. 10 to 12%. Imagine that company in that quarter is going to grow 10 to 12%. The numbers they're growing at those percentages are amazing. All right. Let's talk a little Disney and YouTube. So Disney channels go dark on YouTube. And, you know, Disney right now up 0.9%. Okay, they get some volatility. Google shares down 0.6%. Close that out. So Disney content, just focus on ESPN. Okay, just focus. I mean, I'm sure you're going to have your diehard ABC fans that need their ABC programming as part of YouTube TV, but many people signed up for YouTube TV, folks, for exclusive access to ESPN with everything else that came in it, right? You can get a lot of the other shows already, but the one thing you can't get is ESPN. Well, you could get it with YouTube TV. Now you can get it as its own standalone app. That is the key. Remember that. Now you can get ESPN as its own standalone app. Okay? So ESPN, Disney, and Google having trouble coming to a deal. More than 20 channels going to be removed from YouTube TV. Now, what's going to matter in there as well is if you got kids, man, right, whether it's Disney Kids, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, I'm sure some of that matters to families as well, the whole routine. But, yeah, it's coming to fruition. I'm already seeing it all over the internet, of course. And they have 10 million subscribers, folks. So it is a big number that you're talking about here. And, yeah, it expired last night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. I was trying to get down to the number, but they get 10 million subscribers. It's a huge chunk of the subscribing cord business. And $20 is not enough. They're going to offer a $20 credit. That's not enough money, folks. YouTube TV without ESPN probably isn't worth it to a lot of households for $20 off because it's still a pretty expensive service. All right, we jump over to Netflix shares. Netflix, they're going 10 for 1 in a couple weeks. I think that goes on record October 14th. Yeah, and it'll start trading 10 for 1 on November 17th. Excuse me, November 14th. In 2 weeks is the day of record, and then it starts trading 10 for 1 on Monday, November 17th. So it basically takes place over the weekend in 2 weeks. They'll go for 10 for 1. And, yeah, Netflix up 3.2%. The other deal out there, they're going after Warner Brothers Discovery. Yeah, Warner Brothers up almost another dollar, up 4.3%. Probably not what Paramount wanted to hear, that they're competing with Netflix. Nonetheless, Paramount up by 0.9%. Yeah, Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers might have some room to go. Look at this run since acquisition started talking. You're finishing almost at tick highs this week, and they were talking about turning down deals at $24. Yeah, quite a week for Nike, right, Dan? Look at this thing, man. Got this nice sign of strength in their last earnings, but we're breaking the lows of the week of October 6th. Right now we got 62 million, though. We're coming into 76. We're coming into this whole bar from June 23rd. All right, markets, we're pushing higher. We got 35 minutes left to go, and we're right at the lows of this morning at 10 a.m. NASDAQ up by 0.7%. S&P's up by 33 points right now. Gold contract rolling over a bit. We're off by $7. Stay tuned, folks. Come right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. You have the NASDAQ up by 0.8%. We just accelerated some volume. We're looking at 10-minute bars here. And yeah, we just traded up on almost 12,000 contracts. You're up 202 points right now. S&P's up by 37, green across the board. So I was looking for one article I just had up, but why not? Let's talk a little bit of Venezuela. So this article was out this morning, okay, and this is I think it's the weekend. Yeah, it's the weekend interview from Bloomberg, so one of their big pieces. And it's the Nobel Prize winner, Maria Machado from Venezuela. And the headline is, U.S. escalation is the only way to free Venezuela. It's a tantalizing headline, okay? And then it comes with this headline later in the day, that Trump denies reports that he's planning strikes on Venezuela. So that one coming out just prior to noon. They're updating it about 12:30. Denied he's considering strikes on Venezuela, contradicting a media report that he'd given approval for such a move, as well as his own past statements that he was preparing land attacks after a series of boat strikes. He replied no. I mean, you want to hear something sick, folks? Is that to hear him say no, right? And this is nothing against Trump. This is just kind of that game theory. And, you know, the last thing you want to do is game theory war, okay? When he was asked by reporters aboard Air Force One if it was true he was weighing whether to attack, he said no, again, when asked if he had decided on the matter. And that contradicts a Miami Herald report that Trump had opted to attack military installations inside Venezuela, and the strikes could come at any moment. The Journal, the Wall Street Journal, reported on Thursday that the administration had identified potential targets but hadn't made a decision on whether to carry them out. Would he say no if he wasn't going to? Maybe he'd let the bravado speak for itself. Nonetheless, tensions. Jump over to crude right now. Sitting near $61. And that's not how it works, but it's one of the first things I thought. I said, man, he denied it outright. Would he really deny it outright if they really were just considering it? Wouldn't you want the opponent to think that maybe you're going to, if you're still considering it, right? But if you're going to do it, the last thing you want is them thinking you're going to do it and saying you're going to do it, and then they're going to prepare for it. Okay. This market catching a little bid. NASDAQ 100 hitting 26,100. Checking on gold. All right. And let's talk a little bit of Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. Okay, MicroStrategy down by 5.1%. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. So this one's an interesting one. Out at only noon today, I was reading this one. I'm going to share this one in the Tiger's Den as a gifted article, folks, okay? Saylor's Bitcoin Treasury Company strategy had a $2.8 billion beat on net income, okay? You're up by 5.2% today. You see where we were yesterday? You spike higher, we're higher. You take a look at a weekly, though, okay? You're down from $457. You're down $180 from that price point. Folks, that's 40% off the highs. 40% off where you were last November. Okay, if you want access to Bitcoin, iBit's a great way to do it, the BlackRock ETF. You're paying 0.25% for a year. If you want to throw gasoline on a Bitcoin trade and expose yourself to huge volatility in the process, then MicroStrategy adds a little volatility and exposure. Okay, but check this one out. At least 3 analysts lowered their price target. Their top concern was about how the rest of the year will play out, as the premium it can get compared to its Bitcoin holdings continues to shrink. The reduced Bitcoin price appreciation and a dramatic reversal in the premium, leading to a very slow pace of capital issuance. Okay. The average analyst target falling. Unrealized gains of $3.9 billion on those holdings. The premium that is being lowered reduces its capital markets profit potential, resulting in a smaller valuation. It's dipped under 1 in the past. For Strategy to meet its estimated $20 billion fourth quarter operating income guidance, Bitcoin prices need to reach $150,000 by the end of the year. Do you hear that? Yeah. There's some real financial accounting going on in those companies, folks. And leverage is a great thing when the market is going straight up, which is why this equity went from $100 up to $543 over a run from September to November of last year. For some context, Bitcoin went on from 55,000 up to 105. Didn't even double in price. MicroStrategy quintupled in price over that period of time. Be very careful for that equity, folks. Okay? Bitcoin may be around forever. It might even never dip below 70,000. Maybe it's at $1 million in 2 years. MicroStrategy will be around if it's at $1 million in 2 years, but they're going to have some issues if Bitcoin has some issues. And guess what? Bitcoin's probably going to have some volatility at some point in the future, folks. Okay? Remember what stock market charts look like that are based on real equities. Okay? And I say that remember what stock market charts look like for an S&P 500 for a period of decades and the pullbacks that are possible, right? You go from where we were in 96 up to 2012, you're talking about almost 20 years. These are the type of pullbacks that happen in the market full of real companies that make real products. Bitcoin is a real product, okay? But you better believe there's some volatility that's possible in these things, and we really haven't seen it when you look at this run, right? All we've done is go from 15,000 up to 110,000, and now we're consolidating. There's no pullback. We've pulled back from 127,000 down to 110. But that's not a real pullback when you were just there 2 weeks prior, right? It's a 2-week pullback. That's not pain. There's no pain when your asset prices just pull back from where they were 10 days ago. Yeah, it's theoretical pain, but it's not pain. It's not a pullback. And I don't think MicroStrategy is prepared for it, and I don't think many MicroStrategy investors are prepared for what could be coming down the line. So I'm going to share that one in the den, folks. Check it out. Good read on MicroStrategy. Markets higher. We'll come right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
Welcome back, folks. We got the NASDAQ 100 up by 0.8%. We take a look at Amazon, holding on to the gains, up 11%, $25 in the green. Apple shares giving back those gains, but in the green by $1, up 1/3% for Apple. We checking on the other Magnificent Seven. Google flat right now, up 23 pennies at 282.12. Microsoft, they rip lower on the open, off by 1.4%. We're chopping around 518. They were all the way up to 557 on that news that they had cemented the deal with OpenAI. You know, quite the peak, right? They get the deal done. You hit a high of 557. That's an all-time high. And by the end of the week, you're at 518. And Meta, just off the lows, but same deal. You're $110 off of the highs of Wednesday. $110 off of the highs of Wednesday. 650 on the dot, down by another 2.5%. For Meta. All right, you talk about this gambling. It just keeps going, folks. So now it's in college. So this story out here from ESPN, okay? And, you know, the real bummer is I heard college. I said, oh, of course the college kids. You know, if these guys that are making $100 million in the NBA can't fight the temptation, how's a college kid that has very little chance of making it beyond college in any type of professional sport gonna be able to fight that temptation? But yeah, an NCAA gambling investigation is kicking things off. 30 current or former men's basketball players, folks. 30. The NCAA sent a release, an open investigation. 30 current and former basketball players. And you get into it. I mean, it's happening right now. Western Michigan told ESPN on Thursday that their senior would not be participating pending the results of a recent NCAA investigation of events that precede his enrollment. He previously played at LSU before transferring to Robert Morris, where he did not play last season because of injury. So this is going way back, right? He didn't play at Western Michigan, the exhibition game on Wednesday. They kept him out of Thursday. He started his career at LSU and then transferred to Robert Morris, but didn't play there. So they're going back 2 years ago to LSU. On Friday, Sports Illustrated reported the Eastern Kentucky guard is not eligible. Transferred from Alabama State. And that's a school of interest, Alabama State. Knox is ineligible under NCAA rules, but declined further comment. It's going to come. There's a lot coming out, folks. Wisconsin announced Tuesday that senior forward had been dismissed from the team. Dayton announced Sunday it's withholding a sophomore guard. And it doesn't mean these are bad kids, folks. They made a bad decision. That's for sure. Okay? But, boy, being put in that position at that age, when you got NBA players that are making $126 million, they can't do it. You got a college athlete, and they get in whatever situation they're in. But, yeah, it's coming. And it's a bummer, and hopefully they do something about it because it's not going to stop coming, man. The amount of money in sports gambling and how they deal with props. All right, Disney up by a full percentage point, checking on Netflix, up by 2.8%. And yeah, this one's quite a deal. So Coinbase, okay, gotta love gambling, okay. Coinbase has their numbers. They're up by 5.5% on their numbers last night. We take a look at this thing. All right, folks, you want to be in crypto, right? Go buy IBIT, which is the BlackRock ETF. You're paying, as I mentioned, 0.25%. They have a ETF for Ethereum. If you want to go there, I think it's ETHA. Let's see if it is. Yeah, iShares Ethereum Trust. And even Coinbase is not a bad deal, but be careful in MicroStrategy. Long way to say it, okay? But man, Brian Armstrong, the CEO, he ended the company's quarterly earnings call by listing words that users had wagered on through prediction markets on Kalshi and Polymarket. $84,000 had been bet on whether he'd say the word stablecoin, institution, margin, and Armstrong's remarks made those contracts pay out. How do you break that one, right? And he's trying, I mean, they're a competitor, okay? Bitcoin, Ethereum, blockchain, staking, and Web3. He's just listing words. So imagine now you have to take in the probability, right? You try and put things in a probability basket. You say, what are the odds he says the words? What are the odds he doesn't say the words in a natural recourse, natural part of the conversation? And then you say, what are the odds he just lists the words all at the end as an FU to the prediction markets? How about that one? So how do you solve that when you're going to have CEOs trolling whether they're going to say it or not? And just the ability to not police it, but it puts in light. Because, when you're betting on a sporting event, okay, if the player just did something purposely to manipulate the bet, that would in most instances be illegal. If they benefited, okay? But it gets complicated when you're doing it to not, right? What if somebody just wanted to be hyper aware of their own over-under, right? And the NBA has a real problem no matter what right now. So that speaks for itself. They're going to have to get over that one. And he's on the assault, man. He's on the front. But yeah, the problem that the NBA has right now is that they've now created an environment where anytime a player misses their over, misses a bad shot, gets injured late, it's going to be speculated or even joked about, or there's going to be memes on the internet about it being a fixed game. And that's not going to stop anytime soon. And I don't know how you solve it. Because the allegation itself, right, the appearance of impropriety itself is a problem in the NBA. Even just the appearance of it. Same way in government at times, okay? You can make the case, but there's no conflict of interest. But unfortunately, if there's an appearance of a conflict of interest, that in itself degrades the trust that's necessary. And the trust in betting on the NBA is a difficult situation. Man, we got 30 college basketball players, so it's coming out, man. And that might be the beginning. And those poor college athletes. I don't feel too bad for the NBA players that had $100 and $200 million when they were up to this. But a college kid with no money and that type of cash that's being thrown around, that's a problem. And 30 kids. And they are kids, folks. You're 18, but boy, you make a lot of silly, stupid decisions when you're that young. And maturity plays into it. All right, we got 10 minutes left to go in trading. NASDAQ 100 up by 195 points. Markets in the green. Amazon up by 10.4. We're coming right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We touched that area that we were at about 6,900 early this morning, and we're drifting a little lower, but a positive market all around. S&P's up by 31, NASDAQ 100 up by 0.7%, up 170 points, Dow up 107, and the Russell up by 16. You check out that Russell. Quite a turnaround on the Russell. About 1 o'clock today, 2463. You're up more than a full percentage point from where you were at that time. Check back in Amazon, give back some of those gains. Not quite holding on to the double digit. Look at this. We're getting a little negative action here. That's 100 points from where we were just trading at. Yeah, 20 minutes ago. All right, we'll see what happens in the last 5 minutes right now. We take a look at the volume on a daily. We'll see what comes in on the close. We're at 553 right now. Yeah, you're not going to get 100,000 contracts. You might. Let's see what we get on the close yesterday. Yeah. It's a weekly. What a strong day. Jump over to Apple shares, slightly in the red. Microsoft down by 1.5% right now. We check back in on gold. Holding up well above 4,000. All right, we'll finish it up with some more gambling. So yeah, the sports betting firms. What's one of the most intriguing part of these betting markets, okay, is that they're licensed federally. You don't have to deal with state by state versus where usually gambling is. So you talk about whether it's Caesars. All right, now Caesars is in its own mess of a trouble. You want to see a tough-looking chart, folks. Caesars, they're up 7% today. How's that for an ugly chart? All right, you're up 7% today. Look at that weekly, folks. All right, now the one thing you could watch here on Caesars is, how's that? You're not there yet. Look at that. Caesars is a tough chart, man. But yeah, Caesars is not getting into that area. They're not going to put their licenses at risk. And guess what? 50 casinos across the U.S. statewide. Folks, thanks so much for spending your night right here. Hey, be careful driving out there. Kids everywhere. Happy Halloween, folks. Enjoy it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday, folks.